everybody. Welcome to Financially Fabulous Females. Hope you're having a great day. Winding the day up. It's a scorching day in Durban today. I mean, it is really hot. You can see my face all flushed, all sweaty. But we're doing our best to put on the show for you today. And it's been a busy week financially. Rand has been up and down. Gold dropped. Gold dropped. I think it dropped by $50 earlier this morning. I'm not sure if any recovery is happening. New York is still open, so I'll go and check that up. In fact, let me check it up while I'm here with you. Today, I want to speak to you guys about yesterday's lukewarm presentation from our dear Minister of Finance regarding the midterm budget speech. Now, I wasn't too impressed with it. And I hope that you guys were not impressed as well because it was a little bit of the same things that we've been hearing all of these years. Well, here's the gold price has changed. It's dropped 11% from yesterday. Silver price has dropped around 0.3%, I think, from yesterday. All right, so gold is at 1,867. It's been floating around 1,925 for the last couple of weeks. All right, so back to the budget speech. I mean, Tito Mboweni and the budget speech. Let us know what you think about that speech. The chat box down below would love to hear your thoughts. What were you expecting from him? What do you think about the ideas that he put forth? Yeah, what do you think in general? Can he save us from the lockdown wrath and the absolute disaster that the South African economy is in? And I want to chat to you about that today. And I want to give you my thoughts and my highlights that I took from the actual budget speech yesterday. Well, this was the midterm budget speech. It usually happens halfway between the financial year, and this is what he had to say. We are in a CAC situation right now. The country borrows around 2.1 billion rands a day. And in fact, when it comes to the tax collection, for every 1 rand that the government collects in taxes, in excess duties, and all of that, around 21% of each rand goes towards paying interest, not even touching the principal of the debt that the country owes. It just goes on servicing interest. Imagine if you, with your salary, right? You get your salary every month, and 21% of that, it just covers the interest of all the debts you owe. Your Edgar's card, you maybe your home loan, your car. That's only touching interest, you're not making interest in the principal amount. I mean, where will you be? You're in the cycle of debt and you're borrowing and you're borrowing and you're borrowing and you're digging yourself in a bigger hole. This is the situation that we're in our country right now. I just have some notes that I typed up, so I'm gonna make it bigger so I can read it. My eyes are terrible. All right, so he spoke about a 3-year wage freeze for senior members of parliament and director posts and all of that. Now, we all know that public our public servants, we have too many of them. Many of them are overpaid. We hear about them all over the news. And that's where most of our tax money goes. Instead of our tax money goes into building more schools, a better quality education, goes towards paying salaries of people in government. And that has just increased around 7.2% a year. That's way above inflation. And most of us don't even get those kind of increases with our salaries. So it seems to be lucrative to be a government employee at this point. And they're also talking about senior members also taking a salary cut. I'll see when I see that, I'll believe that. Also, major cuts in spending with defense and home affairs. All right, and they said increased spending for education and healthcare. They want to get more nurses, more auxiliary staff, expand the current hospitals. I know here in Durban they're talking about expanding Albert Lutuli. So again, nice on paper. I would love to see all of those things materialize as well. Well, they're talking about increasing taxes. Well, they haven't said what they're increasing yet. We'll probably hear about it in February next year. But they want to collect 40 billion rand in taxes over the next few years. That's not just what is scheduled to be collected. That's over and above what they want to collect. 40 billion rand in taxes, and they're going to start taxing us. And if you're following us on the pages, I've always been saying that they're going to start taxing us. There's talk about like a wealth tax where the super rich will be taxed. If you have an estate over 50 or 30 million or something like that, they're gonna put some taxes on that. So they want to increase revenue. They haven't stated how. I'd be worried. I am worried. What if they increase corporate taxes? I mean, our corporate taxes are ridiculously high. Okay. Surprisingly, there was no mention of the NHI. I don't know why they want to release this in a couple of years, and they haven't really talked about it. And more importantly, they haven't told us how they're going to fund it. If we're collecting less and less taxes, and that's unlikely to improve in the next couple of years, how are they going to fund NHI? Is this project being moved? I'm not in favor of NHI. It takes away our rights. This is a socialist policy, and it takes away our freedom of choice. I should be able to choose where I want to get my medical treatment if I'm paying for it. And I don't want that freedom of choice being taken away from me. And here again, we see that they haven't talked about it. Two major things that I took away from this budget was this. He spoke about an agreement between labor and business where people that are employed and are not in pension funds or provident funds, they are going to create a fund for these people where they can start enjoying the pension benefits, the tax benefits that pension provides. And also at a later stage, they'll be less dependent on the social grants because they have a pension plan. All right, so that's interesting as well. Apparently, that's going to come about by March next year. That would be great. I think that's one positive that we can take away from the midterm budget. Then also in this fund, okay, what's going to happen is, let me just read this correctly. I copied and pasted this directly from his speech, so I wanted to get this correct. I don't want any misinformation going out. So Provident Fund members are forced to buy annuities when they retire. Currently, Provident Fund members can withdraw their whole investment in cash upon retirement, but this will be lowered to a third, and they will enjoy tax deductions on their contributions. So this basically means the Provident Fund basically changes to a pension fund. One of the benefits of a Provident was you had your whole lump sum in your hand. I mean, you'll pay your various taxes, and you'll have your lump sum in your hand, and you can do whatever you want with that. And I think what they're trying to do is prevent people from taking that lump sum, blowing that lump sum, and then going and collecting a grant. So that's what they're trying to prevent. Again, freedom of choice. People should have that opportunity to choose. And I'm surprised that the unions are on board with this, and they're not coming about with the whole hoorah about it. But we will see what they have to say about that. Yeah, and another thing that I like, he mentioned that they are giving utilize that. Now they haven't stated what the criteria for utilization is going to be, and they haven't stated what the criteria to withdraw early from their fund is, and if there's going to be any penalties involved with that. So that would be nice, especially if you're in late 40s, early 50s, you've taken a big hit with this COVID and this lockdown. I mean, withdrawing a portion of your retirement early and settling your major debt, not consumer debt. I'm talking about maybe a house purchase. If you have a large amount outstanding on your bond, pay all of that off now, and then utilize your money elsewhere. So hopefully they give us more options as well. And the other major change to Regulation 28, and I rant about this on my Facebook page all the time. They want to make it easier for pension fund managers to invest in infrastructure with pension money. Again, with the government, it's seeing is believing, and only when I see this actually work will I believe it. I thought that it was a very lukewarm approach from the Minister of Finance. I would have liked to see social grants be held back. I rather have that money go into small businesses, give people the opportunity to earn for themselves instead of making them dependent on the state. I would like to see higher sin taxes. And next year, when they're thinking about coming up with this 40 billion, instead of considering things like a wealth tax or even increased income tax for regular people like us, they should consider the sin taxes and increasing those sin taxes when it comes to alcohol, tobacco, and even the gambling industry. I mean, those companies, they should be at a higher tax rate. Put their tax rate up to 35%. They make tons of money. And let's face it, a big burden on the public healthcare system are diseases that come from alcohol and tobacco use. So let the tobacco industry and the alcohol industry fund our public healthcare system instead of coming up with this nonsense approach of NHI. All right, so that's my thoughts. I'd love to know what you think. So type it up in the comments below, and we can chat about it some more in the comments. So you guys have a fabulous weekend. Have a relaxing weekend, and we'll talk next week, 8 p.m. right here on this channel. Have a good night.